hearings to begin. Joining me now is Congresswoman Debbie Dingell of Michigan, the Democratic Policy and Communications co-chair. Congresswoman, thank you very much for your time. Let's begin with the topic of impeachment, because the calls for impeachment against the president, they're escalating. But you yourself so far have not called for impeachment hearings. Why?
Well, you know, I did vote no to not table the Green Amendment because I was so angry at the president that week. And what he doesn't understand, when he goes after the squad and he goes after Arab Americans, he's going after the community that I live in. When he goes after Chairman Cummings, he's going after a city, one of the biggest cities in this country. His job is to unite us, not to divide us. I do believe, though, that we got to follow the facts. Nobody's above the law. But at the same time, we got to stay focused on what people care about across America, which is health care, prescription drugs, fixing the roads, and build infrastructure, addressing bad trade deals. So I think we got chairmen that are continuing to follow the facts. They've got to continue to do that, but we also have to focus on issues that matter to working men and women.
The critics have been saying that the House leadership is being too cautious. Do you agree with that, or do you think that they are striking the right tone here? Because, as you mentioned, a lot of people have been making the case that a lot of crimes have already been committed, that he is in violation of high crimes and misdemeanors, and that is grounds for impeachment.
Nobody's above the law, and that's clear. But I also would tell you, know, I went to Ann Arbor's farmer market on Saturday morning, and within a period of literally like 3 minutes, 3 different people came up to me. I had some of the vendors listening to it. One woman told me Democrats are being too timid. You need to get on with it. The next woman came up and yelled at me about what Democrats were doing, stop this impeachment nonsense. And a third person came up to me and said, Democrats need to get off this impeachment message, and you need to be working for issues that matter to everybody. And I turned to my vendor friends and said, and there goes America. America is divided about what should happen. I do think we need to be very focused on the election and not do anything that's going to help him get reelected in November, but we got to be very clear about what he's doing is not okay. That's why you follow the facts. Nobody's above the law, but we be delivering for the American people on issues that matter to them.
Okay, so to that point that you just raised, I want you to take a listen to Meet the Press. Chuck Todd asking House Intelligence Chairman Adam Schiff about the argument that no matter what you think of the outcome, the Senate says if you believe there are impeachable offenses, that you are setting a bad precedent, and if you don't move forward, there are political costs. Listen to this.
Well, look, there is, I think, great weight to the argument that this is the strongest form of censure that we have, and if we don't use it, what message does that send to the next generation? I worry equally, though, Chuck, about the message of taking an impeachment case to trial, losing that case, having the president acquitted, and then having an adjudication that this conduct is not impeachable. So there's not a simple answer here.
Are you at all worried about the ramifications if in fact this does go to the Senate, if he's impeached and goes to the Senate and he is acquitted?
That's what I'm very worried about. I think Adam Schiff reflected the way that I feel very strongly. What he's doing is just so unacceptable. But there are other things in this report we need to be talking about, too, about how Russia is trying to divide us as a country. Very few people talk about that, but it's a reoccurring theme throughout the entire report. He was very strong when he testified last week that Russia is still trying to interfere in our 2020 elections. We have to look at this whole big picture, and nobody is above the law, and we need to make that very clear. I am speaking out so strongly about right now the tone of his rhetoric, how he is dividing us, how his hate rhetoric is dividing us. But we've got to be smart in how we do it, because we don't want to contribute further to dividing us as a country.
All right, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Coming up